Okay, guys, this is take two on the 4th of December 2024. I don't know what happened. I really have no idea what the hell just happened. Something screwed up big. I have no idea what's going on. I'm restarting the stream. If folks get in here, great. If not, it's just going to be talking to a camera. Um, yeah, guard. I don't know what happened either. The stream it just went nuts. Hopefully everybody else comes over. And the thing is, there was a whole bunch of chat. I wanted to get to it. I literally had, I kid you, I'm going to show you. I was right here. I had to go literally two more things down and I was done. Yeah, you're welcome, Sage. I reboot. Yeah, gotta love YouTube. Yeah, like I love a freaking something cracking in my face. Oh, well, they don't like when people are telling you the truth. I mean, um, I don't know if you guys ever watched the Barry Step. He actually has a channel that goes through all this with the TikToks and stuff like that. And yeah, he gets in trouble all the time too. I actually know at least four that do their own content, and we're all getting screwed. Which I do for this, guys. I do apologize because all the stuff you guys put in, and there was a lot there. I kept seeing it ticking up in my peripheral vision. That's the reason I sit sideways, so I'm not turning and reading it while I'm talking to you guys, because I'll lose my place. But there was a lot of stuff there, and I do apologize for that. But anyways, where I was getting at, guys, thankfully I was in my notes, so I can actually go into the next one. But when it comes to the history of carbon dating, it's all bullshit. It's all bullshit because scientists don't want to be wrong. And this is one of the major things right now. This is one of the things that's slowing us down, is not only do scientists not want to be wrong, but the fact that certain people say, well, if we control history, we control the narrative. Well, guess what? The Smithsonian has been busted multiple times for going in and saying, oh, you found something? We're going to take over. And by the way, now that we took over, we're going to push everybody out so nobody can see what in the hell we're doing. Then we're going to take everything over to the Smithsonian. And when we have no choice but to show it to you, it's going to be accidentally lost or accidentally destroyed. The Smithsonian and everybody in charge there just work for very rich folks and for government personnel. And what I can see is the fact that they don't want us to know the truth. But here's the fun part about that. We can't get away from the truth now. We're in the information age. Information flows. It's just the way it is. Now, here's another thing to keep in mind that's just going to blow your mind. A lot of people have seen this on Joe Rogan, where he's talking about the whole dragons thing. The thing is, he's right. I think it was 1840. Hold on. I actually have it written here, right here. 1841 is when the word dinosaur actually entered our vocabulary. Why did that come in? Because before then, they were saying dragon. That's it. It was a simple change. Just like I can't say a word that starts with S, has an E in it, and then has an X at the end. I cannot say that word. I guarantee the stream will fail again. But I can say gender because the words control the way you think. If they are now going from dragon, which is straight and simple, into dinosaur, which, by the way, is Latin, now they are altering the way it is. This is a lot of the scientists want to do this so that they sound smarter than they actually are. Seriously, I can teach basic physics and I don't have a fucking degree. I can't do the math worth of dog shit, but I can give you basic physics. That's how I'm able to do this channel, is because I understand my basic physics. And by the way, you just have to look at a radio, because like Tesla said, all you need to understand physics is energy, frequencies, and waves. That's it. That's if you understand. And by the way, again, does that sound hard? No, radio runs by electricity. There's your power source. You run it by waves. Your AM and FM are in separate different wavelengths. Your frequency is literally changing the channel. Congratulations. We all know physics now. So anyways, it's just, it irritates me to absolutely no end how these guys just screw things up. And anybody who's had to go through biological sciences knows that you need to learn the genus and species name of God knows everything. And if you can't speak Latin, you might as well sit in there trying to speak Yiddish. I mean, it's just horrible. Sorry about the whole rant, but I mean, this is one of the reasons you guys show up, so you can see me get pissed off at people that just set us up for failure. And I hate that. Just like I hate bullies. So, and I'll tell you what, with them constantly changing everything, it makes it a whole lot more difficult for me to actually stick to hard science fiction, which is what this channel is about. If I want science fantasy, then, well, science fantasy is Star Wars. Pure and simple. Trekkie Trek, nowadays, especially the newer stuff, dabbles more into science fantasy than anything else. And especially when you watch to see how things move in a vacuum of space, I'm sitting there going, no, 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 that's not how that works. That is not how it works. But it is what it is. One last thing for the notes. I don't know if you guys know about this one, but supposedly there's supposed to be some sort of alien duel going in the skies tomorrow. At least that's what they say. I don't know. I mean, I have my cordless hole punchers over there somewhere. You know, those that I didn't lose in a terrible boating accident. Yeah, for those that don't know, here's how it is. There was somebody back in 2006. He created something called WebBot. WebBot's supposed to use predictive programming, i.e., see what past has happened to figure out the future. This thing has been scary accurate so far. But here's the kicker. Everything needs a catalyst, just like any chemical reaction needs a catalyst. For the invasion to happen, this catalyst had to happen. The catalyst happened to be Trump being interviewed by Joe Rogan. Trump wasn't even in politics at the time, and Joe Rogan, his podcast was like 10 people. That was it. So everybody thought it was a joke. Now people are taking it serious. Me, I'm going to be up on a hill somewhere waiting for Bambi to step in front of my sight so I can blow his heart out the back of his head. So, you know, some alien wants to show up, I'm going to have something for him. But we'll see what it is. I mean, they said the same thing about 2012 and all this other fun stuff. So, yeah, I'll believe it if it happens. Now, the one small thing on that is I'm sure you guys have seen the UFOs over in Manchester, in Britain, the Manchester airport primarily. Well, if you actually get one of the stills and are somehow able to clean it up, thankfully I know somebody who can clean them up. I can't do it. I'm not that good. And it looks identical to some things from science fiction. And this is what makes me wonder about that. It makes me think it's human because a lot of these designers take their cues off science fiction. It's been a back and forth all the time. You know, it's a chicken and the egg thing. Do the inventors or I should say the creators, are they the ones that came up with it first? Or did they listen to what the inventors were doing and then just, you know, copied it? Or back and forth? Did the inventors see what the creators were doing and they copied that? This is, again, it's been a back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. That's how they got a little bit of thrust vectoring in the back of the F-22. They watched it on a goddamn anime called, back in Japan, it's called Macross. We used to call it Robotech. And since Harmony Gold got a hold of it, they can friggin' kiss the darkest part of my butt because, honestly, what they did to Battletech was just criminal. Anyways, before I go way off in the weeds, yeah, we'll see what's going on. Tell you what, if it does happen, if you're not able to fight, just kind of watch the fireworks. And let's just hope it's not an Operation Bluebeam where they fake the funk the whole time and then say, well, everybody has to get on this program and that program and you can friggin' kiss my ass. Actually, you know what? I don't want anybody near my ass. That's wrong. Anyway, I'm going to jump up here in the comments section, which I wish was a lot longer, but as you guys know, I had to restart this, and we've only been going on this one for about 10 minutes. So, yeah. Yep, everybody's here checking in again. I'm looking up. Yeah, guards here. Yeah, yeah, you're right, Lee. That did happen last time I was on a rant. However, one of the times I think because I actually showed that 30-30 and started cocking the thing, I think the algorithm actually got a picture of that and started freaking out. Yeah, gotta love YouTube. Yeah, right, like a skin rash. War Sniper, don't fear the Kitsune lover. And by the way, that one's coming. Probably should be started before the end of December. Let's see. Someone outrageous is here, and so is Rage. Sup? And everyone is checking in. Okay, Guard says, well, in short for me, Sin, watching you while playing World War Z, and I crippled myself last week. What? Crippled myself, which is why I couldn't see the stream. Crippled yourself, dude. I hope you're okay. Shit, I don't want anybody to get hurt. Well, maybe a few people, but not you. Guardian saying, yeah, they hate when you speak truth about things. When then the world's about lies, the truth becomes, well, illegal. I mean, seriously, in this case, once again, go over to the UK where if you speak up against the government and say, I don't believe this is right, they can have you arrested. Shocker. Politicians are doing that. Guard continues to sprained my right wrist while catching a drive shaft while it was slipping out. Ooh. And I got a first-degree burn on my left hand after the coffee pot shattered not even 2 days later. Yeah, dude, you need to, flick some salt over your shoulder or something. Sounds like you're just having a bad week. With the coffee, I can't say anything about the drive shaft slipping out of your hand. I'm guessing you were a little greasy. But as far as the coffee pot, yeah, this is why I keep burn cream in my first aid kit all the time now. After what happened, right here, you can't really see it too much. Now, it with the light that way, you really can't see it. But I actually burned part of my thumb off on the wood stove, and then I accidentally hit the burn, and all that skin just peeled off. Not so fun. Anyways, yeah, good luck on that. Says political news for the week. Second bit of news, for some reason, South Korea declared martial law for about 5 hours. No reasons why. So literally the military is standing out and apologizing to the civilians because they know. And then he stops and says, wait, the dinosaur is Latina? Okay. That was funny, Guard. That was just funny. No, it's written in Latin. Again, they want to sound, a lot of these scientists want to sound smarter than they are. And that falls into the same thing. How do you know if somebody's a ranger, a nurse, a marine, or a teacher? They tell you. It's just they want to seem, certain groups want to seem important. And all I can say is nobody cares. You are what you are. Okay. No skin off my back and no flack to you. But if you want to come in my face and say I'm better than you, because you might just get a little reckoning on you. Chris says, could you change my shout out from my name to Prozac and Pancakes? Let me just write this down. Prozac and Pancakes. I'll have to remember that because, I have it written down here. You sent the whole thing, holy shit, dude. Wow. That's one of the reasons I jumped the stream a little early. But, yeah. And yeah, I don't know, something about the president declared martial law for some reason, and their version of the Senate said, bite me. That was, I don't know what's going on. The thing is, we are in the final stages of the mouse utopia all around the world, and Korea is catching the worst of it, surprisingly. You would think it'd be China with what they poison themselves with. But no, South Korea is just getting slammed down in the face. Right down the throat. So far down the throat, it's coming out the back end. It's bad. For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, standard replacement for births per woman is supposed to be 2.1. 2.1 kids per their lifetime. However, Korea's been in a deficit. The last I seen was 1.18. And I'm just like, holy flying monkey nuts. That is low. and it goes down to 1.8, you're in trouble. And now they're almost at just 1. The thing is, China's not too far behind right now. The problem is getting actual numbers out of there. Good fucking luck. Let's see. SS Demon says, random fact, unicorns originally were just rhinos and somehow evolved into mythical horned horses because people back in the day couldn't understand what a rhinoceros was. That's actually true. A rhino is just a one-horned creature, just like a bicorn is a two-horned creature. Now, if you actually go through and look into the actual Bible, it never says unicorn. It always says rhinoceros. So everyone's like, well, where's the rhino? Where's the unicorns? Where's the unicorns? We have them. They're just not pretty. They're just not going to have, She-Ra, Princess of Power, riding on their back. It just doesn't happen. They've been trying to push this whole unicorn thing and a lot of like Marvel stuff. I mean, even the Shazam #2, the unicorns. Oh, yeah, a horse with a horn is the most dangerous thing. Yeah, not the creatures that are 30 feet tall with God knows how many claws. That's just crazy. But, yeah, Demon, you are 100% correct on that. Chris Dixon says it means terrible lizards. Yeah. Although they actually did have, believe it or not, gay dinosaurs. It was a dinosaur ass. Really has a dinosaur ass. Anyways, sorry, bad joke. Anyways, Guardian Sage says Tyrannosaurus Rex. I'm gonna screw this one up. Deinonychus, Stegosaurus, and Brontosaurus. I don't know I can't pronounce that other one. Says Leonid. Leonid says I'm kind of okay with Star Trek. Every 100 years, humans see Klingons and ask, "Are those Klingons?" Yeah, believe it or not, if you want to do Star Trek, all you gotta do is use the toilet. Don't you know that the paper is the Starship Enterprise? It circles Uranus looking for Klingons. Demon saying, no wonder Klingons hate us. Yeah, they're shit. Okay. Chris Dixon saying, oh yeah, Jenny Gump is pure evil. She's not just evil, she's evil. I mean, seriously. Out of every single group that has ever shown how horrible that character ever was, Family Guy is actually the first one to hit the nail on the head so hard they sunk the nail straight into the wood. I mean, it's like a minute long, folks. If you haven't seen it, by all means, go watch it. And you're just going to be like, holy shit, why did I like this movie? Because you were told you were supposed to like this movie. Because it was Tom Hanks. And Tom Hanks, is kind of hard to see him in a bad movie. He's an exceptional actor. I wonder how good of a person he is. First movie I seen Tom Hanks in was Splash. Although I wasn't focusing on him. Instead, I was focusing on Daryl Hannah's butt. I still remember first time going, she's naked. Of course, I was like 5. I can still draw her butt from, well, I can't draw, but I can see her butt in my mind every single time. It's kind of distracting. It's pulling me away from the stream. Daryl Hannah's butt. Anyways. And Demon saying, yeah, she totally is evil. Okay. Leonid, there were real unicorns in the prehistoric era. They were just large animals with horns that were digging the ground. Okay, I haven't actually seen any of that. Alan says caltrops are best on harder surfaces. Okay. Leonid here saying, I haven't heard Hello Nurse since the 90s. Yep. They tried to bring that series back. My sister loved that series as a kid. I at first didn't care for it, and then I started actually watching, and it's a hell of a lot smarter than anything. And the thing is, that's what actual Warner Brothers was about. They had some of the original writers from like the Looney Tunes cartoons. The only difference is they could actually do more than just a couple of those weird gestures with Bugs Bunny kind of turning to the camera and raising the eyebrow. Like, really? But yeah, it was a lot smarter than people give it credit for. Especially the song where the guy starts naming off all the countries. I actually dared somebody to remember that. He tried for about a week and said, "I'm done, man." Let's see. Guardian says, believe it or not, there's a theory that the dinosaur with the long hollow bones mass that stick out its back of its head might have breathed fire using a principle similar to the bombardier beetle. Okay, I need to touch on this one because this is one of the major things that's coming up. And this is why the scientists fight the theologians. And I mean, people that actually go into actual old scripts, like the original, but not the current Bible, but the original Bible. They talked about lizards that came up out of the ocean that, and by the description, they were giant crocodiles that actually snorted fire. Now, some of these old skulls that we're finding actually had a huge bulbous area in the nose, far larger than they needed to be. But the thing is, we're only going by what the bones alone can tell us. We have nothing. We have no musculature attached to them. The only time we get soft tissue is up in Canada, where they're digging up all the woolly mammoths, and they actually found soft tissue inside the tusks and shit like that. And I'm not even kidding. When I first saw that, I was like, this can't be real. They even found a goddamn feather inside something that's supposed to be 65 million years old. Like I said before, carbon dating is a bunch of bullshit. Oh, god damn. And here's the best part about all those bones. If you watch all the dinos, they all have this this particular pose where they're arched up like this and they're like leaning back. It's proven without a shadow of a doubt for something that with a whole bunch of stuff that die like that, they all died drowning. No kidding. That's the last pose that anybody does when they're losing air, is they'll arch their back in a vain attempt to try and get air in their lungs, even if they're below water. And it's just, it's just crazy when you start thinking about it. But the thing with the breathing fire, it's a good chance that a lot of them did. Now, did it have to be actual plasma to breathe fire? No, it could have been acid. Okay, they look at the Komodo dragon, they thought it was breathing fire and just has a bright yellow tongue. You look at the spitting cobra at a while, they were saying that was spitting fire because if you got just the tiniest little overspray, it burned like a son of a bitch. So breathing fire is relevant. So, but yeah, the bombardier beetle, I mean, that thing just kind of farts and flies off the sky, but still, it's possible. They actually talked about this on the UK movie Breath of Fire, if I remember correctly. It was about dragons. And they actually went through the science of two different naturally occurring acids, and they had glands inside their mouth where when they actually flexed a certain muscle, it sprayed out as they're roaring. The burst of air coming out of the roar sent it, mixed it together, and it caught. As soon as these two acids hit oxygen, they ignite. Well, guess what? If you take those same two acids and you spray them on something, you might as well be hitting them with a phosphorus as hot as that shit burns. Well, maybe napalm, but still, it's enough. It's just absolutely crazy because it's like you guys say, oh shit, hold on. I got to stop. I got to wait a minute because we have an SS Demon with a $20 super sticker this time. Now, let me get this down before I totally forget. I just happen to see it puts up a different color over here, guys. So that's what catches my attention most times. That's why I can actually stop. But yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much, Demon, Erica, Chris, Guard, and everybody else. And sir, if he ends up in here, you still got 2 more weeks where you still get your shout out. Chris basically started his month back over again. Although he's going to be Prozac and pancakes. So hopefully I remember to do that. I got it's in the notes. It's right there. That being said, but yeah, here's another one, folks. When it comes to the abilities of different critters that aren't around anymore. And this was brought up to me, and I thought this was fucking genius. You look at those little scrawny little arms that the T-Rex is supposed to have, right? At the same time, when people are talking about dinosaurs, potentially flying dinosaurs. Well, if you look at an ostrich skeleton and you know nothing else about the ostrich, you'll see almost identical bones. Guess what? Those were probably not arms. Those were most likely small wings. Small wings that were either used for display during mating, to intimidate rivals, usually during mating. You notice everything kind of revolves around sex. Oop, I can't say that. They might cut the stream, guys. Oh, shit. But also to scare off potential aggressors. You know, that's a good possibility for that. I mean, look at the neck on one of those lizards that runs across the desert. That's there to scare the crap out of you. And for most people, when you first see it, it does scare the crap out of you. But yeah, this is stuff you aren't allowed to know. And there's what is it? Collective intelligence, where you find one person who finds that last little bit of information that other people didn't catch, and suddenly all the tumblers fall into place. And my hat's off to him. You know, I'll raise a drink to him, along with the rest of you bad motherfuckers. All right. Okay, where was I? Lenin says people have been putting random bones together from different animals and call them dinosaurs. Yeah, that's one of the biggest issues there is they'll find a whole bunch of different skeletons together, and it's like finding 7 or 8 different Lincoln log sets, but there's no box, and you got to put something together, and they just kind of like, whatever. And I'm just like, yeah, no. It's the things I still remember as a kid. They were showing the head on, I believe it was a brachiosaur, and they're like, "Oh yeah, you see something wrong about the skull?" And we're like, "Of course not. We never seen any of these before." They go, "Yeah, they found out that this is the wrong skull. They had the wrong skull on it for 40, 50, 60 years." I'm like, "Oh, that's nice to know." Probably the last time I learned anything original in school, and I was just a little kid at the time. But you're absolutely right, Lena. They don't know what they're doing. They act like they know what they're doing, and they expect everybody to pay for them. Erica says, I still like dinosaurs and ice age animals. I wish we knew more about them. Yeah, the things, I guarantee we do. I guarantee there's people with more information. However, we're not allowed to know because it would give validity to things they don't want us to give validity to. That's just the way it is. If they came back and said, we have exact proof of, I don't know, name your religious text here, that's going to give credence to them and pull everything away from the state. Well, the state don't like that because the state wants power. You don't believe me? All you have to do is look at Russia. When they didn't like something, they erased it from their histories or did their best to do it. That's why I firmly believe Tartaria was a thing, because Russia has always been known to erase things from history. If they have to blow it up, if they have to plow it under, if they have to burn it to the ground. What is it how George Carlin said? Those blue eyes sail out of the north, motherfucker. They'll steal it. They can't steal it. They'll burn it. If they can't burn it, they'll fuck it. You know, it's just, ugh. But I'm with so much evidence to prove that a lot of this stuff was real, and all the evidence showing how they tampered with things, because back in the day, being able to cut and paste on a picture and then retake the picture, basically, which I used to do when I took photography, you can see the flaws now. They're very, very, very obvious, especially when you're looking at a picture and you're like, oh, there's a car moving down there. And you go in close, you realize that's not a car. That's somebody took 2 different pieces of paint and put a little swipe there. So it looks like a car at first glance. I don't like being played. I don't like being lied to. And you know what? That's why it makes it hard to do good science fiction, because you can't do good science fiction if you don't know what the actual freaking facts are. Although I can speculate all day long based on what I do know. Anyways, I will say one of the best animals from the Ice Age, though, is that little squirrel who keeps chasing the acorn there. Lenin says, Kirk to Spock, you never told me you have a half-sister that declared war on the Clinton. What? See, I'm not big into the Trek, so this is news to me. I didn't know Spock had a half-sister, which half is there, the top or the bottom, or did he split it down the center? Anyway, hold on, this thing jumped. But yeah, I didn't know the Vulcans and the Klingons were at each other's throats. Makes sense though. One's all emotion and the other one's all logic, so they're eventually going to go to blows. I mean, that's just the way it is. Chris says you don't have to. Oh, hold on. I'll do that in a second. We have a $10 super chat from Brian Kemp. He's right here. Let me write this down. And he says, enjoy the week's stories. Thank you. You are welcome. And if you were in here before, I do have to say sorry about losing the stream, but we're back. But yes, thank you so much, Brian and Demon and everybody else who's helped me out here. And back into the comment sections we go. By the way, Chris, I haven't checked my emails in a couple of days. I've been running around like a freaking jackass. That's what happens when you actually burn wood downstairs. You got to run around and waste a lot of time. I'll let you know if I got it. You know what? I'm gonna write in big letters right here. Email, so I don't forget. Again, I'm good at checking the comments section, folks. I am terrible on the emails. But let me jump down here because we got another $5 super chat by the Guardian Sage. And he says, she was actually Spock's human adopted sister. Ah, I see, said the blind man as the deaf dog pissed in the wind. It's all coming back to me now. So, yeah, that would make sense. Humans don't like the Klingons either. And that's one of the main things. If you're ever writing a actual warrior races tend to have too much bravado, and that just turns people off. And it's going to make people that actually focus on their technology go, yeah, you want to fight with us? We're just going to incinerate your entire sector by blowing up all your stars. Anyway, thanks again, Guardian, Demon, Brian, everybody. And let me get this lined up. Demon also says the Animax were pretty good back in the day. Missed the old cartoons. That's because the old cartoons, most of them were decent. I will say when I was deployed to Iraq and we saw one guy had the box set of the original Thundercats, I could only watch it for about 30 seconds before my brain started just to die and ooze out my ears because it was so bad. It was so bad. Oh, it was painful to watch. And I don't say that lightly. It was physically painful to watch. It's like I was going to go get on the computer at the MWR10. I'm like, no, if I got to hear this in the background, I am done. Erica says, I believe that all mythological animals have a grounding in real life animals. Most likely, yes. I would bet you most likely, yes. I will pretty much guarantee you that at least one of the pictures showing actual dragons and whatnot is that we can see is real, but it's intermixed with all the other ones that are fake. And then what do you do? There's Erica saluting Demon. Yep. Demon also says, I know it's my job and I have to, but I don't want to go outside tonight. I'm tired of the cold, but I finally got a heated jacket and it does help. Yes, it does. Speaking of which, anybody, if you're going to be going out in the cold and you're going to be using the heat warmers, put them on the back of your hand, not in the palm. If you put them in the palm, all you're going to do is force your palm to sweat. And the moment that touches cold air, it won't matter about the heating pack. You're still going to get cold. You put it on the back right next to where all the veins are going down your fingers, which is why when you cover your hands like this, suddenly your fingers get warm. It's something they did back in the day where they had an actual pouch at the top of the gloves where you can actually slide the heater pack in and then it closed up with Velcro. A lot of people are like, well, it doesn't keep my hands as warm. It doesn't make them sweat either. And you got to remember the acronym COLD on that one. And side rant on this, because this is the same speech I give everybody because it was taught to me. Everybody knows COLD, COLD. As long as you follow it, you keep clean to make sure you can thermoregulate. You don't overheat so you don't sweat. You dress in loose layers so that you can, open them up and close them as the temperature changes, and you stay dry. If you do that, you're going to be fine. It's just that simple, folks. It doesn't have to be any worse. I do recommend some sort of liner for your jacket. Well, not with a heated jacket. You should be fine on that one. But wool socks, my friend. Always have an extra pair of wool socks. It is a fucking lifesaver. If it's going to get really bad, though, put regular socks on and then put your wool socks over top if you're in a loose-fitting boot. It's so much better. So much better. Eric is saying, get those 10-hour hand warmers. Yeah, they may or may not work. Always bring a spare set in case those don't work. Chris says, flying T-Rex pigeons. Don't park under the tree that they're in. Damn, Chris, that's funny. Wow. Okay. I never thought about that. Just wow. Okay. I'm just thinking about a flock of T-Rexes going over a high-rise building, and somebody's in like an apartment like the Big Bang Theory, and all of a sudden this big giant turd comes crashing through the window. And there's someone like Sheldon gets up, looks at it, goes, Leonard, I think we have a problem, or something like that. Somebody going out to their car in the morning, and all of a sudden you just see it's all accordioned in by some giant T-Rex turd right in the center. Oh my God. Somebody's got to do that. Somebody's got to do a CGI on that, because that would be just hysterical. Oh man, just the thought about that one is just great. Oh shit. Thank you, Chris. I needed that. I needed that really bad. That was funny. Oh shit. Okay, let's get back to it. Guard says, decided to play Call of Duty Ghost Extinction. Really? Again, too. And Jesus Christ. I think the only reason why I'm even still alive is because the arc attachment and the fact I got lucky and found light machine gun kitted out. Okay, I haven't played Call of Duty in years, honestly. I just don't have the time for it. And it's all online now. There's almost no single players that I'm aware of. I think Modern Warfare 3 was the first or the last one I did. And I was actually got that right before I went to Iraq. And I actually had my Xbox 360 sent. And then I looked over to the guys and said, you got power in your hooch, right? Here, make sure you don't break this thing. It was boring, that tour. I mean, seriously boring. I was about ready to go out there and just start shooting things just for the hell of it. Guard also says, fun fact about the arc attachment is that if I hit 3 or 4 headshots, the alien just instantly explodes. It doesn't matter what kind is besides the Rhino, which is pretty much a tank. Well, Rhinos pretty much are tanks. Believe it or not, if you put a Rhino and a Hippo against each other, the Rhino loses. They've tried this before. And hippos are just, I don't know, just angry. They're just big and angry. It's no other way to put it. They're just, especially during their rut, they are just nasty, nasty things. There's plenty of videos online of people seeing one getting closer because you see the bubbles and everyone just like freaks the hell out. They're like, nope, we're out. We're done. They just don't want to be close. And I can't say I blame them. Demon says, I have 4-hour hand warmers, aka just use 2 a shift. The company does provide those. Okay. I would be surprised too. I was working for Costco's. It actually had to get below 0 before they authorized us to wear gloves, but they only authorized us to wear their gloves, which were work gloves, not winter gloves. And I'm outside pushing carts. That was just yikes bad. But I'll tell you what, any type of gloves are pretty much better, just about better than nothing. It's just crazy. Demon also says, I haven't played Ghosts in a while. I did like the game. Well, back before every little kid could just absolutely, I believe the word is pwn all us adults. I still remember the original Ghost Recon We lined up on the smallest map. I got in this tiny little draw, and I got either the SAW or the 240, and I'm just aiming through a window. And as soon as I saw movement in that little bitty broken down house, I just started waylaying shots through it. About 6 to 9 round burst through that sucker. By the way, to time your shots, it's literally saying, "Die, motherfucker, die. Die, motherfucker, die." I kid you not. That's actually how we time them. But it allows you to not have this huge gap. So as it opens up, it brings back down. And we just wiped the floor with them. And eventually, after 2 or 3 times of us kicking their ass, we hear this little voice, "You guys must be cheating. Nobody's this good. How could you get so good?" And my buddy in the other room just hits the push to talk button and goes, "You do realize we do this for a living, right?" Dead freaking silence. Of course, that doesn't happen anymore. They literally, as young kids, if we tried to play now, they would literally walk in there, go, "Here's your ass." I mean, it's just that quick. Yeah, it's you're right. It's actually interesting for that they send you something useful. Oh shit! I hate when this thing jumps. Lean says, "I don't remember, but I always thought that Siberia is a frozen swamp. Hard to imagine an ancient civilization would live up there." Okay, here's the fun part. If you actually go by the original maps in like the 1300s and stuff like that, the North Pole wasn't covered in ice, and neither was most of the Northern Hemisphere. The ice cap in the Northern ice cap wasn't there. The Southern ice cap was a lot bigger, but the Northern ice cap, there was no ice. So it's one of those things where the people that did those maps, their livelihoods, their reputations relied on them actually being able to do maps correctly and show everything right. And it's some creepy shit to think that the North Pole didn't have snow on it. Now, are those maps exact? I don't know. I'd love to know, but again, a lot of information is being hidden from us. It's being hidden from us because, again, if we knew the truth, then we wouldn't follow a lot of these folks and a lot of their shit would go by the wayside, especially once we get our frequency stuff and we can, heal our bodies, destroy all the freaking viruses and bugs that are killing us, regrow freaking limbs, and all that other fun stuff, and actually be able to survive indefinitely thanks to not only frequency but things like CRISPR. But we're not allowed to have that. So, but yeah, the frozen swamp was probably not frozen, and the Earth was probably a whole lot hotter back then than it is now. Let's see. Alan says, "How about larger insect bombardier beetles, mosquitoes, as in upright releasing their offensive functions?" Oh, you're talking for a story. Giant bugs. You got to be careful with giant bugs because for giant bugs to work, you can't let them breathe the same way normal bugs breathe. That's actually the reason why they can't grow any bigger. If they get any larger, they die, which is why the larger the bug is, the slower it moves usually. They literally breathe through the abdomen, which is the big piece in the back. So literally, they're breathing through their ass. So makes you wonder if they fart when they belch, but I don't know. I only know this because I actually raise bees. I have 2 hives in the back. Yes, I have my own apiary. I haven't got any honey from it yet, but fingers crossed they survived through the winter. It's been a really messed up winter so far, so we'll see. But yeah, if you're talking about giant mosquitoes or bombardier beetles and stuff like that actually coming down on us, first off, ugh. Secondly, yeah, that would be bad. I believe an anime did that with giant, like literally giant bugs that were about the size of a bus. And they weren't too far from the truth because a lot of those, that's actually how they would actually attack, with the actual spikes in the nose and stuff like that. Although how do I put this? The more, I guess you could say, erotic way the people die wouldn't happen. You'd die screaming and in a lot of pain. Demon says, should we just random comment on your videos? Check your emails. Yeah, actually, you should. On that one, by all means, remind me so I can do things better for you guys. I know it's not in this one because I literally just threw this stream together, but on the first one, there was actually the address in the description box down that way, and not this time. But if you guys want to send it via mail instead of email or something like that, there is an address. Again, the previous stream, not this one. Let's see. Lena's story idea. Hold on, let me get this right. Idea. This is humans are children of minotaurs and mermaids. Humans. Oh, children. Oh, I get you now. Children of minotaurs and mermaids. Okay, hold on. I'm trying to do this fast and I just messed it up. So, let me write this. Average human. Average humans are the childs of minotaurs and mermaids. So all the minotaurs, there's no female minotaurs and there's no male mermaids. That's a lot of M's. That would be that would be hard, Lena. That would actually be very. I'd have to sit there and brainstorm for a while. Hold on. Let me put my thinking cap on. I don't know if I could even get that done. That would again be a little difficult, but not impossible, because I could simply just use the Anunnaki if I wanted to. I try to stay away from that one because that one's been played way too much in a lot of hard science fiction. And yeah, a lot of people like to play on that one. All I can say, if there was that much gold in the planet at the time that they're talking about, this planet would shine, would literally shine from space. Or you could see it from space. It'd be like the whole planet is covered with the Luxor Hotel. I mean, it's crazy. Demon says, is that why some humans can hold their breath really long and some really short? Mm-hmm. Well, for me, it's whether or not I've actually been running or not, but whatever. I once held my breath over 6 minutes. I wanted to die when I finally got some air in my lungs, but thankfully I had my scuba tank next to me. So as soon as I finally you're trying to get air, but I'll tell you what, you get higher than a fucking kite. I mean, you're not actually dying. It's not like whippets. That's a totally different thing. It's when you're actually refueling yourself with oxygen, you can actually over-oxygenate your body really fast. And you are seriously like, dude, what the fuck? It doesn't last all that long, maybe about a minute. And it's a lot shorter if you fight it, but it does happen. Alan says, cocaine toads are another thing on the livestock. Yeah. Is cocaine toads like the cocaine bear, which, by the way, was a real thing? Not the way they showed in the movie. The movie was funny. The movie was actually funny, especially if you know your critters. I mean, I knew what was going to happen at the end before I even got there, but it was still a fun ride. But in any case, yeah, I'll try to look into that. Let's see. Guard says, Jesus Christ, getting a dump from a T-Rex on your car would pretty much just be it. Should I just buy a new car or ask the fire department to hose it down? That's how much damage is done to it. Oh man. Yeah, I can. Let's face it. You figure what they say a T-Rex was. Well, actually, no. I can't even go by the scientists because they honestly don't know what they're doing. And here's the fun thing about that. It just kind of hit me in the brain. Maybe it's enough caffeine. Actually, there's no caffeine in that. But if the T-Rex actually had wings, like Red Bull gave him wings, then if it actually flied, it wouldn't be nearly as bulbous as they showed. Where the ribs aren't, just like any other bird, it would be very, very, very compact, like excessively so. So yeah, it would honestly, if you're, and I'm just saying, for instance, if you took a T-Rex and gave it wings large enough that it's able to fly, you know what you've got? You've got a fucking wyvern from Game of Thrones. Those weren't dragons, those were wyverns. Wyverns have 4 limbs, 2 of which are wings. Dragons have 6 limbs, 2 of which are wings. When we're not counting the tail on that. But yeah, regardless, this is one of those things that just kind of blows my mind on that. Especially when you realize that the timeline is beyond fucked. For anybody who is just joining us, we were on the whole thing about how carbon dating is a line of bullshit. The factors for that to be accurate have to be so exact, precise, that it's a statistical impossibility to do it more than once. Even then, you might get it wrong the first time. Oh, this thing jump. I hate when this thing jumps. Let's see. Lena says, maybe Skeleton Crew is going to be a good Star Wars show. Come on. Someone saw Life Day Parade holograms and made it canon. Really? And you think that's going to be a... Come on, Leonid. You know better than that. Come on. The original Chewbacca Life Day thing was so cringy bad even for its time. And now they're trying to make another one? Ugh. Or should I say, ugh. All right. By the way, don't ask me to do that twice, because first off, that hurts, and usually I can't do it. Story idea. Xenos do Jurassic Park like they did in the movie, but get Angry Birds on steroids. Humans help. Okay, let me write this down. Idea. Xenos create Jurassic Park. Okay, got that written down. I'll see what I get to. But yeah, it would be some Angry Birds. That's for absolutely sure. Angry Birds with teeth. Yeah. Guardian Stay says, well, I wasn't very good at it. I did enjoy Ark. Survival Evolved. Okay. Again, I'm not a big gamer, guys. So you guys start talking about games and you're going to go over my head. Alan says, look at the Aerogel clothing. Expensive, but well worth it. You know what? I'm looking for a new set of pants. So I'm going to look in that. Aerogel? All right. I'll look into it. My jeans are, I don't know what it is about jeans nowadays. They don't last at all. I remember buying jeans, 20 years ago when I stopped growing, and they last like 10 years. These won't last 6 months. It's just crazy. Demon says, I quit playing Ark when my guild leader just kicked us all out of the guild and gave us all our stuff away. So many years worth of work was just gone. Man, I hear about stuff like that all the time. Never played again after that. Yeah, that will put a sour taste in your mouth. I would expect you to, especially when you put all that time in. That's like working on a car, and then your girlfriend takes your keys saying, I'm just going to go to the grocery store, and then she wraps it around a telephone pole, especially if you spent years and years building it. That's what a few people call the nuclear option of getting rid of your girlfriend, boyfriend, or spouse. Because someone is going to explode. Unfortunately, I do know somebody that happened to, but it wasn't a car, it was a motorcycle. And it was a beautiful, I'm not even a rider, and I can appreciate how beautiful that motorcycle was and how much time and how much money was in that bike. Money they did not get back when the insurance company actually did pay them what little bit that insurance companies pay. Let's see. Lenin says, ACOG scopes in video games are too powerful. Game developers nerfed them. They did? See, I actually I like Dacogs. I use the real ones, and they're nice if you know how to use them right. The original ones actually had a spike and a chevron over top, so you had to aim for the top of the spike. Or if you gauge, well, if you're in CQB, you have to aim at the chevron. If you, or sorry, I got that backwards. If you're out in the range, you aim at the chevron. If you're actually doing CQB, it's the top of the spike. That way, you get a more accurate coalition. God damn, I can't even talk. But you guys know what I mean. But yeah, as the thing with the video games is they keep having to nerf the crap out of them because people are getting better. That's one of the main things. It's not that the scope is too powerful. It's that the people are too good. I mean, hell, I know a lot of people who stopped playing Halo, even Combat Evolved back in the day, just because you get that one guy up on the ridge with the Barrett and he knows the glitch where he can hide where you can't see him. And he's literally just picking your ass off every time you move around. And you just like, you bastard. He's getting like 50, 60, 70 kills a game. He's just like, what the fuck? Leonard also says maybe Antarctica is the original Atlantis because who knows where it was millions of years ago. Actually, some people are actually getting a hell of a lot closer based on the text being used because just as the way that the verbiage from now to back then would have changed, the land has changed. So you literally have to go back into the text to see what the land was like before. Plus, you got to do geology to see what rivers were going where and what was flowing at this place and that place and this other place, trying to figure out what in the ever-loving snot rockets is going on. And apparently, they've got it pretty damn close. The problem is people have built on top of it, so they can't exactly excavate the area. And people online have done a lot of research on this. They basically focus on it. And every once in a while, like every month or two, they find this little piece of information that moves the cursor just a little bit. But the thing is, it's like a spiral. You're getting closer and closer and closer to the center. But as far as Antarctica goes, I just think there's some spooky shit going on down there. And I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's gateways to another dimension. I don't know if they're testing something down there. I don't know if there's another civilization that's like Kong and, in the center of the earth. I don't freaking know. All I know is there's weird shit going on. And I do know one part, though, the energy weapons they work on down there, that's a thing. That's actually fairly well noted now. But directed energy weapons are they're weird. There's like 50,000 different ways you can do that, and they all have different results. So be careful when people say directed energy weapons because they might be talking one thing, you're thinking something totally freaking else. Like believe it or not, a light laser is an energy weapon. But there's also energy weapons that can send out a pulse that's going to cause a rift inside the fault line and cause it to go yoink, and then you're in trouble. Let's see. Chris Dixon says, a funny thought, ancient Siberia being Florida and Florida man, Siberia man. Well, I have seen video, one guy going to drop his trash off. He sees a bear, and then this is in Russia, he hits the bear with a metal trash can. Let me go down here. Oh, Doug's here. Douglas Scarborough, and he is here with a $10 super chat. Let me write you down here. Hopefully I'm pronouncing your name right. Is it because the thing is, I think I'm mispronouncing it wrong because I keep thinking Scarborough and it looks like here Scarborough. So again, it's just one of those things. But thank you. I appreciate it very much, Douglas. And he says, have you ever done anything about the honey badger? Which one? Are you talking about extending on a story, or says like the song? Nope. I haven't done anything about that one. Anyway, thank you again. I appreciate it very much, and I appreciate everybody being here. And we're going to jump back into the chats, make sure I don't miss anybody here. Okay, wow, I jumped past all these. Where the hell was I? Oh yeah, Siberia Man being Florida Man. But yeah, SS Demon says Blue Gender was an old anime with giant bugs killing humans. Yes, it was. I remember that one. It was kind of weird because they took everybody who was in stasis, and like I said in the story, stasis just sucks. And the reason it does is because you have no idea what the hell you're waking up to. It could be heaven, but it's usually hell, at least in stories that I write. Just like I don't know if any of you have listened to it yet. I'm sure most of you have, though. I know that's contradictory, but Are We Human Enough was the title of it. And it's a very long and very in-depth series, but it is science fiction. It seems fantasy. It's not. It's science fiction. But again, that's when you had somebody coming out of a pod who was not physically who they were when they went in. And there was some giant bugs in there too. I'm sure you guys, if you remember that one, it was actually one of the first times somebody put in the comment section that they actually had to fast forward through an area because they were getting the chills. They're like, oh, that's creepy, that's creepy, that's creepy. Let's see. Chris saying, the real cocaine bear is in a mini mall outside of Lexington. Okay, that's good to know. Lena says, I watched Iron Sky years ago. America built a spaceship with a railgun and nukes. That was the second movie of Iron Sky. Other UN countries had secret space programs too. Fleet starts flying. Yeah, I saw that. It was an interesting scene if it wasn't so cringy as hell. The thing is, they were, for folks who were actually in space shooting, they clearly did not know how to aim their fucking targets. Okay, it's all you had to do is realize, aim for the bridge with your guided munitions and start picking off the fighters with your rail guns, because they have a range of almost nothing because they're all visually locked on. You're using actual sensors. You can shoot at them long before you get within visual range. And yeah, they didn't use the weapons right at all. Anyway, Guard says, I think you'd enjoy Ghost. It's one of the few last few Call of Duties that didn't require you to be on the internet. Well, there's a bonus on that. A game that you actually get the whole game when you buy the fucking game. That is what a novel concept that is. Bring me back to the age of friggin' putting actual cartridges in and just hit and play. It says, not to mention the Xbox One version looks much better than the 360. They're getting better. I don't know if you guys seen the graphics for the latest, which one was it? God damn, I just had it at the tip of my tongue. Anyway, the new graphics that are coming out, they're almost photorealistic. There's you can see little bits that are off, but they are extremely, extremely good. And it's gonna hit me here in a second what it is. Demon says, I yawn like that. My friends make fun of me and call me Chewy. Yeah, I used to do that with my squad leader all the time. So somebody would yawn like that. It's like, what's that, Chewy? Hans frozen in carbonite? He's in Jabba's palace? It got to the point people were playing as a drinking game. Every time I did that, if I got through the whole thing, everybody had to finish their beer. If I just got through part of it, they took a shot. Let's see. Guard says, people just hated it because it came out after Black Ops 2. After that, it's a much slower pace one, which is why player base almost non-existent. Really, just because it's slow? But you'd think they'd have fun with us. Yeah, well, they don't want to play with you. They just want to play with themselves, I guess. Sniper says, I'm doing Ark Survival Evolved right now. Ooh, what did it evolve into? The Ark of the Covenant? Guard says, especially on Extinction, it's since you can have 4-player lobby and everybody can level up and get cool ass equipment to use. Okay. Well, at least they're getting their head out of their butt on that one. Lena says, well, I never seen American suburbia in Star Wars before. Always just desert planets. Yeah, either desert or jungle or ice. I mean, seriously. Yeah, that would be. I actually did. Somebody just put in a comment over the past week. They looked up one of the original ones I did. Could the Star Wars galaxy actually take Earth without going in and just glassing or slagging or whatevering the entire planet? They would lose, and they would lose big time. Because once you got a nuke inside that giant hole in the center of their battleship and it goes kablooey, there goes your fucking ship, because it's going to break in half, and neither half is going to be smiling as they plummet to the ground. Everybody inside is going to have their head up their butt, kissing their ass goodbye. But yeah, on all metrics, they would lose. Every single metrics. I didn't even talk about drones, and drones have changed everything. When the original Predator drone came out, the first thing that says, oh, we're not going to put any weapons on it. Friggin' 2 months later, there's friggin' rockets on the damn thing. Anyway, you put a fleet of drones against a fleet of those TIE fighters, the TIEs they're beyond screwed. They don't have any anti-missile defense. Yeah, they can move a lot, but so can those missiles. They're designed for moving targets. So, yeah, but I'm just glad people are looking into some of the older stuff as well, and not just, oh, what's coming out today. Anyway, Demon says, I just discovered a zombie-based building game called Infection Free Zone. Oh. At least make sure your next girlfriend comes from there. Anyway, that lets you start anywhere in the world and uses real GPS map data. I started one in my job this morning, and I really enjoyed it. Oh, okay. Now, I have actually heard a lot about some of these zombie games where you can actually build actual hideaways, hidden areas. And one of the things they're actually going to take out, their nerfing part of the game, is actually having a boat as your hideaway. Because once you're out far enough, unless you're anchored, nobody can touch you. And if you're anchored with something that's small, the zombies can't climb it. They tried to change that, but the what was it? The game mechanics wouldn't work. And somebody just kind of basically just let their character just survive on the boat and whatever. I guess they're like number one in the world now. Anyway, Douglas here, before he dropped his super chat, and he says, hey, Drill, how you doing? I am doing okay. We'll see how tomorrow goes, because this morning when I went to go and actually put my stuff on so I can go out and shoot the 30-point buck, I don't even remember my alarm going off, but somehow the alarm went from the windowsill to the bed right next to my hand. And I'm like, wait, what time is it? Oh, I better go check. And then I saw the light coming off the front of the phone. I was like, what the hell? How'd this get here? What time is it? Oh, it's like 20 minutes past when I started to walk up the hill. So anyway, that's how I'm doing. And I'm doing really good talking to you guys. Okay, Lena says, does Halo have any powerful weapons? Yes, they do. Humans used to put naval guns on tanks and tank guns on planes. The gun's never big enough. It's actually true. The 20 Mike was actually on the planes and used to scare the living shit out of people. But the reason for the larger bullet was simply to help take down the bombers, because they found out that the small rounds could take out some of the crew. But if you take out the pilot or the co-pilot, guess what? The plane still flies. So you put the larger bullet through the engine and can actually penetrate the engine block. It will shut down the engine, slowing the plane down, allowing you to hit it again. You take out two engines and they're most likely going to bail, because you can't do much on two engines, not with those things. Let's see. Oh, shit. Man, this thing jumps like crazy. Okay. Demon says, also, if you're wondering, my job as a zombie base was hard as hell. I lost. Oh, that sucks. It was pretty cool though. The game does not have a tutorial, so that didn't help. No, actually, that's some of the best zombie movies. If you don't know what the hell is going on, let's face it. That intro portion on Zombieland, where his hot neighbor girl is actually bitten, and she's staying with him and stuff like that, and he's like freaking out. 406, you're just sick. You're just sick. That was actually pretty good. Of course, that was generally a good movie. If you haven't seen Zombieland, you're missing out. Make sure you watch the first one before Double Tap, so it makes sense. Okay, story. You guys are full of story ideas. Hold on. Let me get this story idea. Let's see. Because the Anunnaki took 85% of the Earth's gold, this left Earth valuable to ethereal attack. Oh, I like that. No gold. Vulnerable to ethereal. Let's see. To ethereal attacks and ethereal parasites. Ugh, I hate parasites. And because of the lost gold, Earth is slowly dying. Now we're just going to have to take all the gold off of Mars, I guess. Or off those two planets that collided that created our asteroid belt, which is what the main thought process is. I don't know. There's not enough evidence for anything for that. But anyway, that's not bad. Wow, that's in depth though. That would be probably 2 days of work just for one video on that one. But that, Erica, that would be, ooh. Yeah, my brain's already starting to work on that, even though I need more to drink. Okay, on to the next one here. It says, Alan's here. He says, here, I thought a CO2 shark stick and an anti-scaly armor. Oh, reliable and close defense weapon. A true Geneva line crosser. Yeah, yes and no, actually. Now the Geneva laws, honestly, I'm about to go tell them to go screw themselves, because as soon as we couldn't use the Punisher anymore, which was everybody I know who used it, I'm pissed I couldn't use it, which was a semi-automatic handheld grenade launcher, which was only, I think, not even a 20 millimeter. But it worked great. Everybody just loved the damn thing. But yeah, Geneva's like, oh, you can't do that because of our rules. And I'm just going to be like, you know what? Bite me. You know what? You're a zombie, Geneva. Don't bite me. Chris saying, gotta run. Stay safe, everybody. Well, I'll see you, Chris. Guard says, so don't play Rainbow Six. Okay. At least for now, because the entire game is currently filled to the brim with cheaters with the new season. Really? Doug's here saying, the honey badger is a skunk cousin, but attacks cobras and lions. Yes, he is. The only thing is the honey badger, the skunk, and the actual badger are all in the same family. Actual badgers, you don't want to, if you see one, you might as well just shoot it, because the honey badger will fuck with you if you fuck with them. A badger will actually jump at you. It's actually horrifying. But there's not that many around anymore. They used to hunt them all the time. It's all that thing does is dig, which means it had a lot of meat for such a small carcass. The honey badger, it's a little different. But yeah, honey badger really doesn't care. It's like, I'm going to come in and I'm going to eat you no matter what the hell you say. And, it's like a pushy, it's like some girlfriend has a pushy boyfriend. I'm going to eat you no matter what. I don't care what you say. Okay. Guard says, like, I'm not even joking. Me and my team decided to run all shield operators for the rework that made one of the OG operators shield. And some 14-year-old shot right through our shields, then gloated about it before getting splattered by one of his teammates with a shotgun. Nice. Yeah, it's getting to the point where a lot of these, because everybody's getting tech smart, it's going to make video games almost pointless in multiplayer. That's one of the reasons why I'm glad the AI is getting so much better, is because then you don't have to worry about all these cheating bastards, because there's not going to be a cheating bastard to actually change the game. You're just going to be able to play. Lena says Sticky Bomb is the best military anime. Oh, Stink Bomb. Isn't that the guy who's he's literally just walking death? I think that was it, if I remember correctly. That was years ago. That was really old. Oh, let's see. Lena, it also says a Jaguar commercial. People belong in a Star Trek show. No, they belong out in the street. You know, they can go on those colorful crosswalks as I drive a semi-trailer clean through that area at about 98. You know, they look like something from a bad Trek show. Yes, that's what they were dressed as. But, they didn't even show a car. What were they thinking? Huh. Okay. Guard says, extremely excited about the new series Secret Levels coming out in like 6 days. No clue the first episode's going to be, though. You got me. He also says, said update for Ghost through Ghost, though, is that you have to get all the Extinction DLCs, which were originally with the whole game itself. Oh, they're playing that game. But Activision and their greed and made them all separate. Oh my God. Damn. How do you guys even deal with this? I'd lose my freaking mind. That's like buying a car and you can't use the seats unless you pay them a monthly fee. Oh, wait, that's actually happening. And that's going to making these car companies go out of fucking business because nobody wants to play the game. It was actually funny where the guy, he's taking a video. No shit. He goes in there and he's like, okay, I'm going to sign for this car, but I'd like to go around the parking lot a little bit. Can you turn, where are the heated seats? Oh, you need to download the app for that. He just turns his phone like this. Are you really? You're kidding me, right? No, you got to download the app for this, that, and the other thing is, oh, thank you for being candid. Then he gets up and walks away. He just walks off the lot. He's done. But yeah, Activision, ever since they lost control of BattleTech, their greed has just been boundless. Okay. Ernest says, would a Sidewinder work in space? No. You need a thrust vectoring. The Sidewinder actually has rotating fins, is what makes it be able to turn that way. But each fin is independent, which is why it can spin and turn and do like basically a 90-degree turn. If you see the other missiles that actually have, you'll see them at like little dimples on the side, like somebody took a quarter and just pushed it along the side. Each of those is actual solid propellant. Those would work in space. They work very well. The only problem is with solid propellant, you can't choose how much of the propellant you use. You just kind of fire it and it goes off and it burns up. Demon says, if I remember correctly, Generation Tech did a video explaining that X-Wings and TIE fighters are actually slower than modern jets. Yes, they are. Now, the thing is, as soon as they did that, I mean, within days of they doing that, there was another, I forget, I think it was like Computing Forever or something like that. They did another video said, well, this just came out. They just put it on the website. How much faster the X-Wing actually is. Because heaven forbid their guy's not the biggest, the strongest, the fastest, the meanest, the blah, 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 blah. I only know one particular type of group that does that. That no matter what, theirs has to be better. And that is the vampire-loving freaks. Okay? And they did this during Greatest Warrior, whatever it is, the Most Dangerous Warrior show, whatever the hell that was. And no matter what, their bite force had to be stronger. Their speed had to be faster. Their grip strength had to be tighter. No matter what Max Brooks said about the zombies, these other guys got to be better. No matter what. And I'm like, great. So now you're looping in Star Wars with Twilight. Great. They kind of did the same thing with Superman. And then I said, great, you put the Man of Steel with Twilight. Congratulations, you just mixed the two. Boy, that'll piss a few people off. But it's not like I'm saying anything wrong, because the truth is not an insult and reality is not an attack. It's just that simple. But yes, you're right. The fact of the matter is there's so much wind resistance on the X-Wing itself, no matter how it's shaped, that it would be slower. It wouldn't be able to turn nearly as fast. Not to mention, it is not outrunning a goddamn missile. Those missiles, as soon as they're locked on, the X-Wing is done. The TIE fighters, you don't even have to put the explosion close to it. Well, it would be somewhat close, but they're so freaking fragile that the anti-grav motor is the only reason it doesn't crash into the ground. And those things start to fail. You're going down, and you're going down hard, and there's no way you're surviving that. It's just going to come apart like a piece of tinfoil. Okay, Guard says, Star Wars show idea. The name is called The Underground, and it's based on some of the biggest and baddest gangs in the Star Wars universe. That's actually not bad. That's not. I wouldn't write it, but that's actually a really good one. I would love to get my Star Wars one done, because I wrote one a long time ago. It was unbelievably great. And the thing is, it would work with The Mandalorian. The problem is we have to keep Kennedy and her ilk and Sweet Baby Ink and all the rest of them as far away as possible, because they will screw it up. They will screw it up bad. But the thing is, at the end of mine, by the time the specific character I made up is no longer part of the story, because he has to spend like 3 or 4 years in one of those back to tanks to make sure he doesn't fucking die. That's when a whole bunch of these kids are going to be trained as Mandalorians, and they're not from Mandalore. They're all different ones. They're the tailheads. They're the spike heads. They're the different color folks, the big eye people, and all this other fun stuff. You know, and that would work well for the show, and that would draw a lot more kids in. I guarantee it. Let's see here. Lena says, let me put up my Star Trek lore. Polarized armor was a repulsor field that slows down projectiles so that they have reactive shields that stop torpedoes that are shot from railguns. That's a lot of electronics and a lot of juice. A repulsor shield that slows down projectiles. It's not exactly how those work, but okay. And they also have reactive shields, stop torpedoes. That one. Basically, you're turning it into Beskar armor that can stop anything. Okay, why not? That'd be a whole lot to explain, but you either have Beskar or you're looking at Master Chief's armor from Halo. War Sniper says, gotta go to sleep. Good night, everybody. Good night, War Sniper. Brian's here saying, need a new humans built what kind of gun? The kind that kills. Well, if you're talking about on a ship, it's a big gun. And it's accurate. Usually if it's if you're talking about anything on a vehicle, anything where you can get it power, you're talking about a very large railgun, and you're talking about something that could probably punch through about 50, 60, 70 feet worth of reinforced concrete with barely even slowing down. If you're talking about handheld, yeah, railgun wouldn't work. It's too much juice. Let's see. Lena says, Star Citizen has a 46,000 DLC. $46,000? What the... Does it freaking give you a hand job while you play? What the fuck is that? Oy. Guard says, the only reason why I know about the DLC is because I wanted to get the wolf skin for the attack dog on multiplayer. Realized instead of them being $2, it's a $50 bundle. Wow. Jesus Christ. Again, I don't know how you guys can still play when they have this sort of crap. He continues with, they're all instead $15 a piece, but they also come with a couple of guns and several multiplayer maps. Whatever happened to, just everybody just built a map and they just sent it in. It got scanned for any viruses and then they put it on the server. I guess that doesn't happen anymore. Lena says the fighters from Star Wars are never designed to be in atmosphere. Yeah, they are space superiority fighters. Not the way they fly, but yes, TIE fighters in particular were never truly meant to be in atmosphere. But you're right. They were originally designed to be space superiority fighters. They would get their tonsils buttered by the friggin' Star Fury. I guarantee that, because Star Fury is just purely more maneuverable. That being said, Babylon 5 also does use actual missiles. They don't show them much, but they do have them. Although I will say Star Wars actually does have missiles, but they don't usually talk about them much. I still don't know why. They're super effective. But yeah, space superiority fighter. The only reason I say they're not space superiority fighters is because they don't crash when they enter an atmosphere. Space superiority fighters, just like an air superiority fighter, cannot go in the other one. They can't cross that. Now, since they can go into both, they're actually considered aerospace fighters. However, do you want to go into an atmosphere? I wouldn't. Especially not in that tiny little ball, flanked by a couple of panels that block my vision the whole time. It's like being with blinders on inside something that doesn't even have life support. Yes, I need to, if I want to make fun of something, I better know what the hell I'm talking about. Guard also says, funny with secret, he continues. Multiplayer maps, funny with secret levels, is the Titus from Space Marine 2 looks like a 40-year-old dad who just put up with a school bus full of Gen Z teenagers after a 40-hour work shift. Wow. Just wow. Okay. Yeesh. Like, damn, it looks rough. Yeah. You want to see rough, you should have seen us when we came in after that 4 days of fun, a 4-day movement to contact. Holy shit. I'm amazed I actually got to my bedroom without just collapsing. And he also puts in, Jesus Christ, Leonid, I just looked it up. It's now $48,000 for a DLC. Does it come with a lifetime supply of hookers? What the fuck? What? Oh, my brain can't wrap around that. I'm sorry, guys. It's not going to happen. Lena says, I don't know what you're expecting from the gravimetric engines. Those are designed to push from the planet's gravity. In space, gravimetric engine would be placed in front. It's basically gravity pulling everything forward. Okay, which is why you got, if the gravimetric engine is up here in the front, everybody's feet are actually facing that way. You're actually being pulled down to it from the gravity as it's pulling it through space. You're talking about an anti-gravitics engine. Those push the planets away, also known as a repulsor engine. So, yes. Oh, Ava's here. Look out. She's coming in. Hey, Ava, how you doing? It looks like everybody's saying that too. Unit says, quick question. Can you combine rail and coil guns and use high density round? Yes, you can. Actually, I'm trying to remember. I believe it was Space Doc. If I remember correctly, they're the ones that did a very good video on different types of rail guns and coil guns and how you can mix those together. And it would actually have to be a high density round to allow the actual energy to flow through it, especially rail guns. Let's see. Douglas says, I generally play games that are free to play, like MechWarrior Online or Starfleet Battles. I wish I had time for MechWarrior Online. I really wish. I used to love playing it. I was always the second line guy, and I'm always sitting there given the actual commands like I was actually still on the radio back in the day. And I'll tell you what, some people are sitting there and you're sitting there, fire mission, Hotel 3, danger close. And basically you're like, hey, I'm dropping artillery right there. You might want to back up, dumbass. And I love that when there's some idiot in a locust actually got on this. What does danger close mean? And literally walked right into it as everything came down. He was on my own team. I didn't want my own team to get shredded. Next thing I know, one of his weapons, or not his weapons were on the other side, but the side torso was gone and he's limping. I'm like, and I kid you not, I just hit the button and went, that's what danger close means. You're an asshole. Well, you're the one who ran into artillery. Let's see. Demon says, yeah, games used to come completed. Now they left unfinished so you can charge you for the missing parts. Yeah. And it's one of the reasons I actually never actually finished. Or hell, I still haven't even opened it, is the last Halo that was there. And I haven't played it. I have no idea what the hell happened to Cortana. Let's see. Leonid says, Mech Warriors has flying mechs. Those are fun. Yeah, they got rid of that. The land air mechs, they totally scrapped that idea for one. It was just dumb. What's the name? Red 40K, I think it is the channel. And he did a whole thing on that. And he went over the fact that if you have a LAM for everything to work, because Battletech is hard science fiction, not science fantasy, then the armor is going to be so thin you could beat it by farting on the thing. I mean, literally, if the pilot farts, the panels fall off. I mean, it's idiotic. Now, using jump jets like the Phoenix Hawk, because it has those huge it's built in, that's different. It doesn't actually fly, just jumps really far. Like the original Superman. He jumps over tall buildings. He never flew. Let's see. Ava says, TIE Fighter panels block vision. I've actually been in the cockpit windows, blocks more view than the panels on both sides. You've actually been in there? You've been jumping dimensions there, Ava. You've been going over to the dark side, haven't you? Gives you focus. Anyways, and she continues, panels on both sides for like 60 degrees. Yeah, that's nothing. That's why they started going to bubbles domes for all the fighters back in World War II, because you got to be able to see everything around you. It was important. Demon says, if I remember correctly, didn't Call of Duty Ghost have a multiplayer map that let you play as Predator as a kill streak? I don't remember. Lean says, the constant 1G thrust produces gravity. You can also spin a ship to create. Yeah, you can. Centrifugal. I keep calling it centrifugal. I know that's not the word to use. I think it's centripetal, if I remember correctly. That's how the Babylon 5 station actually kept everybody's feet on the deck. Bite me. Got here. Finally home. Major traffic reporting for duty, sir. Guard says, as Jesse from Breaking Bad was so wisely yell out, you can't keep getting away with this. Actually, you can. They'll get away with it as long as they can get away with it. Unit says, can you explain how quantum drive works in your own opinion? Okay, quantum. You're talking about 0 point energy. That's where you're coming down to. Any type of quantum energy production is the quantum flux field. That's if you break things down and you look at the smaller and smaller and smaller parts, eventually you get to a section that literally looks like mist. That is the quantum flux field. It is also what was used during the Eldridge to jump the Eldridge from New York down to Philadelphia and back again. However, that's a whole nother explanation. That being said, the quantum field is an energy field that is so dense with particles that something that fills up, I shit you not, the top of this pen would be enough, theoretically, to have enough energy to burn off all the world's oceans. The quantum drive is simply a way of tapping into this. That's all, nothing else. They are not trying to burn anything. They are simply extracting from said field, which, by the way, is everywhere. It's around me all the time. It's around you. It's around me. It's around everything. We just cannot access it without certain components in certain ways. A quantum drive, just like also known as an ether reactor. By the way, though, they keep calling them different things. They're different devices to come up with almost the exact same. It is the same result to produce energy. A quantum drive in science fiction, or I should say hard science fiction, is simply using the quantum field to extract energy to get the engines to operate. If you can do that, then you can use I believe it's called a Fushiko drive. God damn it. I totally had a brain fart. Anyway, it's a type of thrust engine that can actually work in space on no chemical propellant. It uses energy. Now, if you're actually trying to drive yourself forward through that, yes, you need all those components. There's a whole lot more to it, but seriously, I would need visuals, a lot of visuals to fully explain it. But a quantum drive is literally just that. You are using the quantum flux field, also known as the ether. Now, the thing is, a 14-year-old kid figured out how to create an ether reactor about twice the size of his cell phone, and he magically disappeared the next day after they posted the video. Shocker. Yeah, because free energy is free energy. So anyway, that's a very, very quick explanation of that. I mean, very, very quick breakdown. Like I said, there's better breakdowns out there, but that's just mine. Ava says, from soft games, still the best dev, at least it can be, they give completed games and then add more content later, like it should be done. Yeah, that's the way it should be. It should be that you get the single player and then you download whatever you need for multiplayer. That's the way it's supposed to be. Guard says, okay, the chat is really retarded here for a minute, and I thought I was pretty much the last message, but apparently, no. It just froze on my... Really? It's not showing any problems over here. This one's actually functioning right for once. It continues, did you hear how their parent company is actually begging Sony to buy them? Sony doesn't buy companies. They just shut them down. Like, how desperate do you have to be to literally sell Miyazaki back to the Sony after they denied him so much? Ugh. Apparently, Miyazaki is like the end-all, be-all dude. I mean, he's just good. That being said, you only go to Sony if you want your company to die. It's just the way they are. They have mismanaged that company so damn bad, and they pissed everybody off. Holy crap, have they pissed everybody off. I'm not even a gamer, and I hear about this. I don't know what their thought process is. Lena says, I don't want video games giving me 4K graphics update unless those are completely useless. Oh, updates. Oh, you don't need the updates because they're completely useless. Yeah, okay. I could see that. Ava says, angular momentum is the correct term. Centrifugal. Okay, thank you for that one. Centrifugal force is the common term. I appreciate that, Ava. The words fell out of my head. Guard continues with, by the way, any game by Miyazaki deserves a DLC for a couple. Dude pours his heart and soul into every game and that he makes, and he knows how to make a story, which is why DLCs tie in so well. And he goes, and yes, Demon, there was a map where you can play as the Predator. Okay. See, I didn't know this. If you got Juggernaut Maniac, and there was another one where you got Maniac, and there's a chance you could become Michael Myers. Smashing, baby. Oh, wait, wrong Mike Myers. Let's see. He also says, coolest part is if you stood still or walked slowly, you were invisible as the Predator Maniac and as Michael Myers. Ooh. Every time you got a kill, his theme song would start playing. Oh, shit. Oh, damn. That would just play with the mind, wouldn't it? And will get louder the closer you get to somebody. Oh man. Again, psychological twisting. Leonid said, "Spirited Away anime confused a lot of people because they thought the ending was was a Mandela effect." I haven't seen it. I never saw Spirited Away. To me, it just looked like Mononoke 2.0. I know it's not, but just from the drawing style because they were so similar. Demon says, "Okay, cool. I'm not crazy. They actually did that." Yeah, it's fun, says Guard. Doug says, besides quantum drives, there's also quantum shields. Yep. There's also thinking of Fushida. Thank you. Fushida drives. That's what I was trying to spit out. The quantum shields, yeah, that gets weird. I'd need visual to work on that. Ava says, okay, my condition is fair. I'm out. Good luck, everybody. Bye-bye. And yeah, she's actually at the bottom, and we have just been bleeding folks off. Okay, let's just unit says, by the Lord Nut, can you miniaturize the quantum drive and put it in a gun or grenade? I know you don't want to do that. No, dude, you'd literally pull the pin and say goodbye to whatever continent you're standing on. That would be bad. That would be very, very bad. Now, if you're talking quantum drive, if you're talking just a simple ether reactor, that's fine because that's a very low end that barely catches anything. An actual quantum drive is just crazy strong. Yes, Demon saying it's got to leave for work too. Good night, everybody. Hey, look, seems like everybody's leaving, so I'm gonna make this real simple. Your final safety brief, okay? Well, at least for the week. Don't drink and drive. Don't drink and swim. If your buddy wants to drink and drive, feel free to beat their ass. It's better to tell the cops that your buddy was trying to drink and drive and you were just trying to save him and spend, a couple hours trying to explain what's going on than have to visit your buddy in the hospital or the morgue. Just make sure if your little soldier is going into the bush, make sure he wears his poncho. It gets wet in the bush. And also, stay away from the really heavy shit. And if you got a drink, just make the designated drivers, guys. Why? Because I want y'all back here. Why? Because everybody here is freaking awesome. Like I said, you're a bunch of bad motherfuckers, no matter what anybody else says. And I appreciate every single one of you being here tonight, even though the stream screwed up from the floor up. I very much appreciate y'all being here. And I guess that's going to be it for me tonight. Thank you again, everybody. And I will see you next week here on Syntax Live. This is your host, punching out.